Welcome in, everybody. You are listening to Andrea Kanoki. I'm from Mrs. to Ms. We've got my favorite friend back with us today, Amy. Hi.
Hey, good
Hey.
morning. This is so fun. I'm so glad to be back and
Oh my
welcome.
gosh.
Let's do this.
I love it. I love having you. And we've talked about you coming on a lot more often with me because you have such great insight. You are also a certified life coach, which I love. So that brings another dynamic to it. So you're welcome to interject with your therapy anytime you need.
Perfect.
I'm here for it. Okay, so today we're going to start out by talking about you and I. We talked the last time we were together how we were fast friends, right? So we talked
Yes.
about we met on Facebook dating. I'm putting that in air quotes because it was Facebook friendship. I don't know if people know that you can find friends on there. It doesn't have to always be the opposite sex. It doesn't have to always be dating. So
Yeah.
we became fast friends on there. We've been getting together a lot for lunch and breakfast and doing walks and all that kind of fun stuff. We share all of our dating tips and stories.
Yes.
And we took a trip together.
We took
Woo!
a trip together. The many ways that we can tie this in, I'm so excited to dive into it, but I'm going to let you lead here. But yes, we took a trip together. It was an absolute blast. Let's dissect that.
Yes. So, okay, so it was just a mini trip. We started out with a mini to see how we did. So we planned a cruise, um, just like a little weekend cruise. They have these amazing little weekend cruise here in California. In Long Beach, you can go on like a Friday to Monday. We got on extra early on Friday, so we got that full day as well. And then it comes back Monday morning and you're sitting back at your desk by like midday Monday. It's perfect, right? It's perfect little
Yeah.
weekend getaway, not too expensive, easy, fun. Fun.
It was so easy. Parking, the whole thing. Yes, so easy. It's in and out. It's low commitment. It's a great
Yes.
place to start, right? With
Yeah.
whatever relationship you want to take to the next level with the trip. It was a friendship
Exactly.
here, but yeah, super easy, low barrier to entry there.
Yeah, and I think that's why I really loved it because it is, like you said, it's kind of a tester trip to kind of see. Now, I will admit that before going on the trip, I never even thought, like, what if we don't get along? What if we are like not wanting to do the same things? What if one of us is snoring? Which I think I did wake myself up with a little snore once. So I don't know if you heard it, but I didn't mean to. I try not to.
Nope.
I think I talk in my sleep, but I don't think I snore.
I know
But
I do. So yes, if there was anything incriminating, let's leave it out of this podcast.
got those notes to the side. So I don't remember thinking, oh my God, like I'm worried about this at all. Like I think when we were actually on there halfway through, we were like, wow, we get along so great. This has been so easy. Was it the same for you? Or were
Yeah,
you
so
worried up front?
I did think it through a little bit only because my daughter, I have an adult daughter, she's 27, but she had just come back from a trip with a bunch of girlfriends and it overall went well, but it was the first time that some of them had met and so she just shared
Mhm.
some of that dynamic. So it was fresh in my mind, right? So I
Yeah,
did kind of think through but I also thought, okay, look, it's 3 days. It's a cruise ship. So worst case
yes,
scenario, it's like, hey, I'm gonna go sit by the pool. You go ahead and do your thing, right? But
right.
also, like you mentioned in our last podcast that we clicked, right? It's very
Yeah,
easy. We have so many similarities, and we're both strong, independent women. So I didn't really have any concerns.
I love that. We are, and
Yes,
we're both very easygoing and we just adapt to whatever the situation is. So I think
exactly.
that made it even easier. So we wanted to kind of talk about the trip because first of all, we just want to talk about the trip and talk all about it, but also the dynamic of actually traveling with a partner, whether
Mhm.
it's a new partner, you've known him for a while, a husband or a wife or somebody that you are not used to maybe traveling with and the things that you have to kind of be a little bit more aware of. Because there tends to be a lot of those things that they pop up sometimes and that can either like make your trip better or it can completely ruin it. So we just have to be
Yeah,
careful either way, right?
yeah.
So, okay, so let's start at the beginning. So we had this plan. We were going on Friday. We were going early because they've now opened it up that you can get on the ship earlier, it's so different than when I used to go in the past. The lines would be outrageous. You'd be waiting forever to get on, and then you're on, and everybody's like scrambling for food, and it just was like more chaotic. This, we like had such ease. There was no lines. We just walked right on. we couldn't get into our room till later, but we prepared for that. We had all of the notes. Andrea gave all the notes on what to bring ahead of
Yeah,
time and be
we'll come back
ready.
to that. Yes.
And then we just went on and we immediately hit some food and we were laying out by, I don't know, maybe 1 o'clock at the latest,
Oh, it was
12:30.
before that. Yeah,
It had to
it
be,
was a rough
right?
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
you bring up a great point there. First of all, yeah, it was super easy. This was my first cruise, and so it was interesting because even before we left, some of our, I think, our personality traits kind of came through. You were sending me lists of like, remember to bring this, a jacket and a cup, and you can bring a bottle of wine, and you can make sure you have, swimsuit. And
yeah.
did you check in for your parking yet? And I was like, oh,
Passport,
this
passport,
is
passport.
yes. I thought this is amazing. It showed me. So let's, keep in mind everything, listeners, everything that we are saying here, thread this into if this were a romantic relationship, right? So you're
Yeah.
seeing, even before you embark on the trip, you're kind of seeing some personality traits come through here. Like so I deemed you, Andrea, I deemed you the world's greatest room mom because it reminded me of like the room mom just taking control, right, of the kids, which is a very different space for me. That's typically my role. Most of us as women, right?
Yeah.
Like I've,
Yeah.
I've always had a house full of kids and that's just kind of been my role. So I was like, wait a minute, this is interesting. So yes, you get to see even before, in the planning process. And think about this if you're working with, a new partner and deciding even I think you may have a little story to share about this too, like talking about like, ooh, let's go to Hawaii. And then
Yeah.
things shift. Do you see? Okay, I'm gonna
Yes.
let you take that. I'm gonna let you take that. Yeah.
Yes. That is a scary thing going on a trip with a new partner, like right
Mhm.
off the bat when you don't know somebody. And so, yeah, speaking of the Hawaii, I did have somebody that I was chatting with very briefly. I think I referenced him before, asking about my bikini and everything. And is that
Oh,
the one
it's the
you're referring
same
to?
one. I didn't realize it was the same person. This is
Yes.
Doug. This is a
Doug
Doug.
2.0. We've labeled. They used to. Was there ever a name for people they would label like that? Like that, we would be like, "Oh, he's such a." Oh, somebody might go, "She's such a Karen," right?
For sure. Or a
For
Chad.
us, yeah,
Yeah,
for us, he's a Doug. If it's a guy that just does not
that's
have
our
his shit
trope.
together, yeah, he throws some crazy stuff our way where we're going like, "What the fuck?" That's our Doug. That's our
For
Doug.
sure.
Till we meet a Doug, and then I got to change it. So
Uh,
this particular Doug was like out of nowhere. It was like our third date, and he was like, "So I'm thinking of going to Hawaii this summer. Do you want to go with me?" And I was like, "Oh, I mean, completely caught me off guard." Now I have to really think about that because if it was somebody that I was like totally like sold on very early, I would have been
mhm.
like, "Yes, yes," jumping at it. I think I would
Sure,
have.
you ran it through a filter with your girlfriends.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. I'd have to run it through first, but I would be like, yeah, that'd be fun. Let me let you know, like that. But this one, I was kind of like, I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe. What are you thinking? So I kind of just gave a little hesitation, held back a
Mhm.
little, and then he was like, well, it's going to be a long one, like 10 or 11 days. I'm thinking I want to go for right off the bat. I'm like, whoa, 10 or 11 days with somebody I've gone out with 3 times. He remembered, didn't even know my last name at this point. So you're already going into this a little bit with hesitation, like, oh
Mhm.
God, that's so long. That is such a long trip. He really should have just said, "Do you want to do a 3-day cruise with me?" It would have been much better, right?
Yes.
And very quickly, that trip went bye so quickly because he started looking up. He was like, "Oh, I think I have a buddy that is going to let me use his condo. He's going to give me his friends and family rate." And I said, "Amazing." Well, he felt the need to look that up right at that time, what that cost would be, so he could share it with me, I guess. And when he did, it was a little bit more, I guess, expensive than he thought. He was like, "Oh, it's like $2,700." Now, this was for a condo on the beach in Hawaii for 11 days. So when
I'm
you break
sold.
that down, yeah, I mean, 2,700, while it sounds like a lot as a lump sum,
Yeah.
that if you're wanting to do that time frame, that's not really that crazy.
No,
Not crazy.
not by
And
any
within,
standards.
no, but Amy, within 10 minutes, what was a Hawaii vacation quickly turned into a staycation because he goes, a lot of people are doing staycations these days. And I was like, oh, yeah. Which, for those that don't know, you just find like a hotel in your area. Maybe you even just go like in California, if you just want to maybe go to San Diego, or you're like, let's go to Santa Barbara instead, that would kind of be considered more a staycation. You're staying within your area and not venturing out. And he said, a lot of people are doing staycations. And I said, oh, yeah, I've heard those are fun. He goes, yeah, maybe we should do that. Yep, let's do that. No Hawaii.
Okay, so no shade to the staycation because I'm totally with you, especially here in Southern California, right? There's
So
so many
many
places
places
to
to
go.
go.
But you just came, it's kind of like, here's the pie. Wait, never mind. Actually, you can just have a chocolate chip for desserts.
Yeah,
Like,
just
wait, what?
one, just one chocolate chip.
Just one. So that's
Yes,
interesting. But that goes to my point, right? You can see right off the bat, even in the planning process, like that's
it's
a
not a good
character
match.
trait, maybe. Right, exactly. You could determine like, huh, okay. And it's not to judge any financial position or anything like
Yep,
that, but it's the process of how you just presented that and then reeled it back and right in front of me, like have that
a
conversation with
hundred
yourself. Go
percent.
do that research on your own. Yeah. Okay.
100%. And honestly, because we were so new, he probably could have had, like you said, either that conversation with someone else, had it at
Hmm.
home, and then he could have probably never said anything to me again about Hawaii. And I would
Yes.
have not like hounded it because I would have been like, okay, he recognized the error of his ways. Like, it's way
Yeah.
too early to be asking somebody to go on basically almost a 2 week vacation with you when you've
Hmm.
known each other for like a week and a half. So yeah, it just seemed like a lot really quick. I feel like it also showed me, and again, not knocking the financial, I am frugal Fanny. My listeners know I've mentioned it many times. I'm
Yeah.
frugal Fanny. Now, to me though, and take this however it sounds, I have no problem with me being frugal. I don't think I'm cheap. I'm frugal. I find ways to do great things at a better deal. But I don't love it as much when the guy says it. When the guy becomes frugal Fanny, then that is a bit of a turnoff for me. I don't mind if he wants to find deals behind the scenes, but I want it to kind of be presented to me like, look at this amazing trip. I don't care if you pay
Okay.
500 for it, but if it's, you know what I mean?
That's
Kind of
interesting.
what?
And I think, well, first of all, I think it's super honest to admit that because I bet most of us probably feel that way. But what do you
Yeah.
think's behind that? Like, what do you think? I mean, I have my
Um,
thoughts, but
I I think for me, I think I am a little embarrassed sometimes at my frugalness because it's
Mm.
constant for me. And I know it goes back to my marriage when I was the breadwinner and the only breadwinner. So everything was at a cost for me. Everything was paycheck to paycheck. I had a very unhealthy relationship with money. And I've worked really hard on that. I've come a very long way, but there is
Yeah.
still stuff like that. And I think being frugal is like, especially in this day and age, everything is so expensive. Like I really pride myself on finding great deals.
Yeah.
I'm the type in the like who's in the register line and I'm like, hey, did you know they had this on sale? Like I just want to tell everybody. Like I feel
Right.
like everybody should know my deal. But when the man is coming at me like going, oh, it's $2,700. Oh yeah, let's just stay home. That just had a cheapness behind it. And that I didn't like.
It's that word, that cheapness, right? It doesn't matter the
Mhm.
amount of money that you're spending, but it's like it's almost like there's a sense of like, so you don't value me enough to make what feels
Yes.
maybe even like a little bit of a stretch. I don't want you blowing your budget, Doug, for the month for me,
Doug.
but also like, yeah, this is special. Let's present this,
Yeah.
as, you're not going to give somebody a birthday present and be like, hey, it was only $5, you
Right.
know? So
Right. And
yeah, there's
especially
that
the
value
first time
piece.
kind of having that conversation or the new trip. But this is also after him having me change my order from two kebabs to one because he thought that was too much for me. I think it was a money thing. So kebabs,
Okay.
kebabs, Doug.
Two
So
kebabs is way too many.
it
Okay.
was way too many.
So you had a great idea. He gave you some really fantastic data right up front. You never even
Yep.
needed to bother to go on a trip.
Nope, nope,
Fabulous. Okay.
nope. And then it went into the bikini conversation. So I knew what that trip was going to be like. It was just all around. It just wasn't the right fit, which is
Yeah.
fine. And I'm glad that, I was going to say great and glad, grad. I'm glad that I discovered that early on because then
Yeah.
it wasn't such a letdown when he was like, let's do the staycation. I felt like I was off the hook too. So that was kind of
Mm.
nice. I know. I know. So you said
Although
you had
a
a
little alarm just went off for me. You would never have to be off the hook. You would simply just say your true no.
say, That's
But
right.
yes.
That's
But
right. You are so right. But I would go in all with my head down, like, I don't want to go to Hawaii. I want to stay
not
home
with
with
you,
you.
Doug.
Doug.
So yeah, so we saw right up front, you that's a great example of how just even just the planning process and then what we experienced together. Um,
Yes.
and then so going into, let me ask you this. Are there any
Yeah.
things that any, character traits or like quirkiness or anything that you noticed about me throughout the trip where you were like, "Oh, I probably wouldn't have seen like it would have taken, maybe months of like brunches and lunches to see this, but we've got all this condensed time together, right?"
Yes, yes. So, okay, if I can say this openly, I think that you were a little bit more insecure about your body image than I thought you used to
Ah,
be. That and that because I am too. I think a lot of us are, and that's a work in progress all the time, right?
yeah.
Um, and I think it just surprised me for multiple reasons because number one, you are hot as fuck. So
I mean,
that
there's
was
that.
like
Just kidding.
what? I mean, there's that, right? So that was like a little bit surprising. I think I pointed out your arms, your guns multiple
Mhm.
times over the trip where I was like, damn, girl, and you just have this really healthy lifestyle that you live. We've gone out many times where I'm eating like the burger and fries and you're ordering the salmon salad, stuff like that. So I think it surprised me a little bit from that side where I was like, oh, even and maybe I looked at it like even those that are really in shape, got their shit together, all this good stuff, everybody struggles with certain things, right? It's their inner demons. I've said it many times, even when I'll say like, oh God, I'm so frustrated, I've gained weight or I need to lose 5 pounds or something. And then
Yes,
somebody that's a little bigger than you goes, oh God, you look amazing. You don't need to do anything. I have a hard time with that because I'm like, everybody is in their own situation. Everybody, to me, I know where I feel my best, how I know I look my best, and that is 5 or 10 pounds lighter. So for me to say it, I don't really want somebody going, oh, you don't need to do that. While it feels nice, it's a little bit condescending to me because just because I'm
for
not
sure.
30, 50, 70 pounds overweight, I still want to take care of myself and get into a good shape. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say that was the only thing, which we can talk. We're going to talk about some body image stuff.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up because I mean, think about if this were a romantic relationship that you're diving into and
Yes.
you're on a cruise ship, right? Where 80% of your time is spent in a swimming suit of some
Swimsuit.
sort or, shorts, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and it comes back to so everything comes back to the self-love piece, right? But it's
Yes.
important to recognize that yes, that comes up for everybody, and I love how you addressed it. Also, maybe just a trigger warning for anyone. I used to work in an eating disorders clinic for 5 years, so um, just a sensitive statement here. If this, this may be if this is a trigger for you to talk about body image, maybe this isn't the episode to listen to right now. But if
Yeah.
it's, if it's not a trigger for you, but yeah, just that self-acceptance piece, and then it's presence too. It's right being in the moment. Like yes, maybe there because I've gained a few pounds, since I moved to California. Thank you to my sweet daughter who's a massive foodie and everything's available here. So it's, we just went for ice cream last night at like 9 p.m. So
I love it.
yes. So, put a little weight on. So getting, used to that. But I think it's cool too that it was like a safe place where I could stand there and look in the mirror with, I think I was trying to zip my jeans and I was like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, that was
I'm
it.
not sure I'm going to get these buttoned. Right?
Yes.
So to be able to
Yes.
say that, and then think about like, if you're traveling with a new partner, you're probably not going to have the space for things like that. So then you're walking around and you're kind of
Yes.
carrying these insecurities, and how does that play out? And how does that maybe hinder the getting to know you process because you're all up in your fucking head? And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a great
Mm-hmm.
topic, I think, to kind of pull apart and put out on the table for people to feel comfortable talking about it, first of all, and then realizing like that does impact your interactions
It
and kind of your
does.
mood, your attitude, how you show up, your energy.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah,
okay, so let's put a pin in that until a little bit later because I want to dive
sure.
into the body image, but let's finish telling about our trip so they have like a good picture of how this all went.
Can I
So,
just wrap it up in one sentence? It was fucking
yes,
amazing. we, we
done.
had a no,
Podcast
no,
over.
not let's see. Tons of food,
Yes.
tons of food.
food,
Interesting that we're talking about body image. And then there was food.
and then there was food. But I think because we let go of our issue with body image about halfway through,
Oh, yes. Yes. That was
right?
such a cool conversation. I'll let you pull that in
Yeah.
whenever you're ready. But yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So, just to kind of give you guys a visualization here for those who haven't been on a cruise, the rooms are small, right? They're little
Mhm.
cabins. We were just kind of trying to go frugal,
Yeah.
frugal on this one because it was a first cruise for you. We didn't want to go spending a whole lot of money. The way I see it, I don't want to be in the room the whole time. Like, I want to be out on the ship, enjoying eating, watching shows, comedy shows, laying out all of that good stuff. So, for me, I was like, I don't want to spend my money on the room. I'd rather just enjoy being out on the ship. So, and you were on board with that too. So that was
Totally.
great. But you are in a pretty confined space. I don't think it felt like we were like, I didn't feel suffocated at all or like, oh my
Mhm.
God. I mean, there are a couple times we're like, oh, excuse me, but like so rare, really.
Yeah, it was
It,
not an issue for me. And it is a very small space. And we're two women with a lot of clothes that we didn't need to bring. I don't know how
yeah,
many pairs of shoes I brought. But yeah, no,
we had to love
it
it.
was totally not an issue.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to kind of give that picture because so not only are you in this small space, but you're kind of changing in front of each other and stuff like
Hmm.
that too. Where I did notice, like right in the beginning, you went into the bathroom to change. I'm just like free willy, I don't really care.
Yeah.
And as it went on, honestly, you were like more loose about it. You were just like, okay, I can just change out here,
I
you know?
honestly did that out of consideration for you. I mean, I'm a nurse and like I have no
Oh,
modesty. Like there's nothing for me. You know what I mean? But I was like,
oh,
I don't know. I don't know if she'd be uncomfortable with that. So yeah, I did change the
not
first
at
couple
all.
times in the
I'm
bathroom and
like,
then I was like, okay, never mind. We're just doing this. Yeah.
no, I love
We're
that.
women.
Okay. Yes, yes. And we just kind of, yeah, it didn't bother me at all. I have no issues with that.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing. So that was one thing that I was talking about with the body image. And then also the eating part. I mean, we
Hmm.
really enjoyed as it went on a little bit. We started out a little bit more in the healthier thing, right? And I think we were kind of worried until we found the pizza. So
Pizza.
the pizza. Oh my God. So I know people kind of have like bad raps on cruises and stuff and food. I thought the food was great. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like off the charts like you're eating at a Michelin star restaurant, but for the price we paid for the cruise and
Yes.
everything that came with it, I thought it was great. Right. So they
Which can
have
we just
all,
throw that out there? We paid like
yeah,
$330 or something for this
yes,
3-day cruise. So
yes.
yeah.
It,
Yeah.
in that included all our food, our room, basically, all the
Hmm.
shows and everything. And we didn't even spend, I think I spent $20 over that. Like we were so good, right?
I
Like
got
you
my
like to
daily
get your
matchas.
coffees. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes. And we were eating nice, like in the restaurant. We weren't
Hmm.
buffeting it. We didn't buffet it at
No,
all, I don't think.
no, we
Yeah.
didn't.
So, yeah. So they have a lot of a la carte places there too. So they'll have like chicken places, they'll have taco bar, they have I think a burger bar, barbecue. We didn't even get to the barbecue, the Italian, the
Yeah.
deli, all of that. We hung around the pizza and the tacos mostly. But this pizza, you guys, it's like I guess it's called wood fired pizza,
Yeah.
right? And it comes out hot and steaming, and they're making them right there for you. And so you're standing in line, just like, I'll take my pizza slice, please.
Yeah.
And they'll give you as many as you want. And we got so bummed the first night we went to go because I thought they were my bad. I thought they were open 24 hours. And so we went to the comedy show. And then I was thinking throughout the comedy show, I want to get pizza. I want to get pizza. I wonder if she wants to get pizza. Well, even if she doesn't, Andrea, you're getting pizza. That's what I was thinking. And I was thinking we should go now. Like, because I was a little over the comedy of them. I was like, we should go now. And then we didn't. And then afterwards, we trucked our way up there. You were on board with the pizza, which I was very excited about. We trucked our way up
Midnight,
there
mind you.
midnight.
Yeah.
I want to say we showed up at 11:55, and that sucker was closed. Ah,
And the funny
that
thing is, at the end of this trip, when we went through like our highlights, lowlights, the low light for both of us, it makes sense that we're talking about body image today
it
too,
does.
right? The low light for both of us was that the pizza was
Pizza
closed
was
the first night.
closed.
We didn't get it. Yeah.
Like that was the worst ever. And
That
I really
speaks to how
built,
great the trip was, though. Yeah.
yes, if that's our worst thing. And I really
Right.
built that pizza up too. Like I was
You did.
selling it.
But
Yes.
as I told you, after my first bite, you did not oversell the
I
pizza.
love that you said that. I was so excited when you said that because we did end up getting it the next day. We had it twice because we were in the middle of the day and it was gloomy out. So we were kind of just, roaming around, not so much laying out. And then we're like, it's pizza time. It's pizza time.
Yeah.
So we went and we finally got the pizza. It was amazing. It was everything we had hoped it would be. And then we did continue to have pizza throughout the rest of the cruise, maybe at 11 o'clock at night, snuggled in bed watching some movies at
It was
that point.
amazing.
It was
So
so fun.
in between standing in line for the pizza and enjoying thoroughly every bite of that four cheese, hot, melty deliciousness, we had a pretty cool conversation about body image. Do you remember that?
We
Laying
did.
up on the Serenity deck in our
We did.
swimsuits, like soaking up the sun. And yeah, we jumped into a pretty cool conversation there.
Yeah, tell us about it. Tell us how that
Yeah,
all went.
well, I mean, kind of it kind of could be titled, very few give a fucks or fresh
Yeah.
out of fucks, as I have a coworker
Yeah.
that loves to say fresh out of fucks.
Fresh out of Fox.
We just decided, like, wait a minute, we're watching all these women walk by, right? Every different body size and body
Yes.
type, and coming through with this confidence. And maybe it was the thong, maybe it was the, oh, super cute one piece. It was all the things, all the body
Yes.
sizes and shapes in all the types of swimming suits and attire. And we were like, we're sitting there picking apart, like, oh, we have, I've gained 10 pounds, or I've got some cellulite on my butt, or you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
a typical 50-year-old human body. And we're
Yes.
lamenting these facts. And then, like, it was like this light bulb clicked on, and we're like, wait a minute. But check her out. Like, first of all, I would
Hmm.
never wear that suit because I simply wouldn't feel comfortable enough. And I
Yeah.
think it's amazing that girlfriend is walking around here strutting her shit, and she's just like, yep, check it out. I know,
Yeah.
right?
No
And
cover
we
up.
looked at that like, wait a minute. They don't care. They're loving themselves. They're not doing this. I mean, of course, we're writing these stories, right? We don't know what they're
Right.
really thinking, but the energy and the
Yeah.
confidence was there. It was palpable. It was, there
Yeah.
wasn't this like awkward, like, oh, I'm concerned about how I look. And we thought, wait a minute. How do you get there? How do you get to that point where you're like, I'm just going to wear what makes me feel great, and I'm not going to spend my time, my minutes with all of this negative, I call it the self trash talk, going through my
Hmm.
brain and sucking the energy right out of this experience.
Yes. a
Yes.
hundred percent. And I think that was a big eye opener for us because we were both talking about our struggles with body image, and we do get so caught up in it. We're so worried about every little thing, any little rolls and the cellulite and the dents and the tucks and the arm sag and all of this stuff. And then, like you said, these women are walking by who just are fresh out of fucks, and we are like, it changed. I think we were almost silent for a moment, like,
Mhm.
huh, because it makes you then rethink it. Like, why am I so worried about my body image all the time? I mean, we are
Mhm.
50 years old. We are beautiful women. We take care of ourselves. We enjoy having fun, having ice cream, having pizza, all that stuff.
Mhm.
And why are we so worried about it when everybody else is just going around
Yeah.
and they're enjoying life and they're not like stressing about that stuff? All I can think about as I get up every time, I need my cover up on. Like, I would never just walk around in my swimsuit with no cover up. Like,
And then to
just,
realize like how we are robbing ourselves. So we're sharing
yes,
this with every woman listening who has ever encountered this, which is all of us, right?
yes,
But then I think about, so I think I shared with you, I stole this from Eat, Pray, Love, which another story was my
yeah.
divorce movie, and I watched it 7 million times. So if you ever need any quotes from that movie, I'm your girl. But they're sitting eating pizza, Julia Roberts, and I can't even remember the other girl's name, but they're sitting
Yeah.
eating pizza, which is very apropos. And
Hmm.
they're talking about how, this girl puts her pizza down and she's like, I can't take another bite. And Julia Roberts is like, wait, why? What's the problem? And she's like, I have this muffin top. And they start talking about muffin, and she has to unbutton her pants. And I'm like, yes, girl, I feel you. But Julia still goes into this incredible point where she's like, look, how many times have you stood naked in a bedroom with a man and they've told you to get out because of your muffin top, or the dents in your booty, or the thigh, you don't have a thigh gap?
Never.
Never. And I thought, I brought that up in that moment, and I thought about my partner now, who has an incredible body,
Hmm.
and I can't think of any times that he's asked me to put my clothes back on and leave the room. So
Can't think he has.
I'm pretty sure it's acceptable. But to just feel this way, um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think we allowed ourselves this freedom, and it was literally the simplest light bulb moment. But just to step into that, and girl, we did. Now, you pointed out too, it's not like we're going to go overboard and eat 6 pieces of chocolate cake and never work out again. We hit the
Right.
gym too.
We hit the gym too. So we made compromises on certain things so that we could eat the way we wanted to. I mean, we also have to admit that when we went to dinner in the restaurant, I mean, so just so you know, in the restaurant, it's menu ordering. So, and there's no prices, it's all included. So you can just order whatever you want. And a lot of people don't realize if you want two of something, you can absolutely do two of something. When I go on the longer cruise, if they have like lobster or something, I am going, I'll do two lobsters because I want to get all my money's worth, frugal fanny, but I
Frugal
want
Fanny,
to
yeah.
I want to have what I want to have. But we were going through like, okay, I'll do the calamari, the shrimp cocktail, the Caesar salad. I'll try the tomato soup. It was an opportunity to try things, to try a
Yes.
lot of things, right? Like that we never usually had. And then also we would get to the dessert and then we would get, they have this amazing molten lava cakes. They're just small, just a little personal size, but then we would order the side of fruit with it so we could dip in it. That was like our own little thing. Nobody else knew that trick to do that. But if you're going on a Carnival
Yeah.
cruise and you get the dessert, get the molten lava cake and a side of fruit, you dip it in the chocolate. It's amazing.
10 out of 10
That
recommend.
10 out of 10. That was our nightly dessert. Like we did not miss a beat on ordering our dessert. But we didn't, I don't think we felt like, oh my God, I hate myself. I can't believe I did that. We went to the
No.
gym.
And that's a shift, right? That's a shift
Yeah.
that I mean, I don't know your history, but I spent probably the first, 30 years of my life not liking my body. And
Yeah.
right. So shifting into this, like I can enjoy things and take care of my body. And, we got our steps in, we drank our water, we went to
Yep.
the gym. We did make sure there were green things still, on our plates here
We
and there.
did.
So it's not an all or nothing, but it's just this freedom. I think that's the
Yeah.
the key word for me. It's this freedom of acceptance and love. And although I've told myself that, in many ways I have stepped into that, but to
Yeah.
to walk around in your bathing suit at 50 on a cruise ship and you ate pizza in bed at midnight watching a chick flick,
Yes.
it was challenging. And so to be able to like step in, we had that bonding moment where we kind of just
We
stepped into that
did.
together. But yeah, just the freedom that offers. And then to think about, again, to bring this into the dating piece, you're going to have such a different experience getting to know somebody, that you've maybe gone on a handful of dates with, and this is your first weekend trip. It's going to be a very different experience when you get to this
Yes.
point of like, I'm showing up as the amazing person that I am. I know what I'm bringing into this exchange. Let me be the buyer here, right? Always be the
Hmm.
buyer. I love that motto
Love
where
that.
I'm not
Love
trying to
that.
sell myself, but what can I learn about this person? And then,
Mm.
I think also too, remembering that confidence is one of the most attractive fucking things you can have in a partner,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And
So
how sexy, Amy, is it to watch women walking around that, yes, they might be a little overweight, they might have cellulite, they might have rolls, whatever it might be, they are rocking it. Like, so when we're saying these women are
yes.
walking by in their swimsuits, I mean, there were some that were strutting around
Yep.
where we were like, damn, And so we were looking at them like, God, why can't I be more like that?
That's
Right?
so interesting that you point out they caught our attention not because maybe they didn't fit, the stereotypical, oh, she's a 10, but
Yeah.
the energy turned heads.
It turned heads, which
Yeah.
was amazing. So it was so fun to see the progression through the trip. And I
Hmm.
remember thinking a little bit because I think I was first to go, you know what, we're on vacation. Let's just enjoy it. We can go back to our normal routine on Monday. Really, you're going to be able, if you just eat good for the rest of the week, you'll take back off a few pounds, some water weight, all that stuff. It's not going to be like we're not going to gain 50 pounds while we're here on the trip. And I remember being a little bit like, okay, Andrea, don't overstep because some people aren't as free like you are, like that thinks that way. Like, oh, I'm on vacation. I'm just going to enjoy it and I'm not going to freak out about it. But you were very open to it and you were like, you know what? You're right. Let's just go
Yeah.
and enjoy it. And then as long as we were still doing the things that I think helped you to feel like you weren't just lazing around, we went to the gym and did our walks and all that stuff. I think
Yeah.
that just made it a little bit different.
Totally,
So
totally. So I'm living
yeah,
very much into this mantra of decide and execute. So when we had this conversation, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to like, shimmy around this issue and be like, should I, shouldn't I? Like, no, I'm going all in. Yes, I'm going to enjoy this fully and completely. And there was
yes.
no further discussion. It was just absolute
And I
enjoyment. And I don't
love that.
regret it.
No.
Those jeans, I can still button them, so it's fine.
Yes. They're still wearable. So I want to ask you, you mentioned like your first half of or your life, I guess, from
Yeah,
up to age 30, you had
yeah.
major body issues. Where do you think that came
Mhm.
from? And
Yeah.
what were your biggest issues that you had?
Well, I mean, there's the biggest, most obvious response to that, right? Social conditioning. Women
Yeah.
are objectified throughout history.
Yep.
And although the standard shifts very much. I mean, we think about the '90s cardio bunny. I want to be careful of words that I choose. Very thin and
Yeah.
just really not healthy, but that
Hmm.
was that was the go-to then, and now it's more, which I'm totally digging, more of the strong, voluptuous, curvy girl, right?
Yes. It used to be the
I
wave
think,
models. That was the thing. Kate Moss
yeah,
being so
yeah.
big. That was the look everybody was going for.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it changes, which first of all makes it unattainable, and not every body type and size can reach that, right? So there's this constant pressure
Yeah.
culturally. And then let's throw social media in where everything's through a filter and perfected. Maybe it's
Hmm.
even AI. Now we can clean up photos, right? So you can like
Yes.
trim the hips, you can create the thigh
Yes.
gap in the picture that doesn't actually exist. So it's unattainable. And I think that's the first step, is just recognizing like it, choosing freedom. Okay. And so
Yeah.
it comes from there. But also I was raised in, no shade to anyone. I live with the most amazing women, aunts, my mom, but there was this constant culture of diet pills and, oh my god, I shouldn't eat this.
Mm.
Everything was good food, bad food. I've been so bad, I ate so bad. It was just a lot of judgment, yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you're a type A personality and you're always striving for accolades, and your value is tied to your success, and sometimes that includes what size are you, or how much you
Yeah.
exercise, or so all of those factors come into play.
Yeah.
And then because it always comes back to self-love, when you
Yeah.
when you get to a point where you learn to love yourself and accept, right? So there's awareness, acceptance, and action. So you're aware of like, okay, this is my stuff. I
Hmm.
accept that this has been the norm, but it doesn't have to be from this moment forward. I get to
Oh, I
take
love that.
action in a totally different route and just accept myself. Are there still days when I'm looking in the mirror trying to zip up the jeans and I'm like, well, fuck, when did
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah.
Yes, of course there are those moments, but it's not this constant everyday pressure. And my heart
Yeah.
breaks for the women who, do experience that every day. And everything can look amazing and perfect on paper, but there's still this internal struggle. So that's
Yeah.
why these conversations, I think, are so valuable and so important. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to feel that
Yeah.
way and then decide what's next.
Oh, I love that. And I think it's just about giving yourself some grace and just,
Mm.
it's all okay. And I say it all the time because, I get into those modes where I'm like, okay, today, this is the start of it. I'm going to be going to the gym 3 or 4 days a week. I'm going to eat good. I'm going to do all of these things. And then, by the second day, Andrea had those cookies again or something, and I just tell myself, you know what, start again tomorrow. And that is one thing that I love, is that every day is a new day.
Mm.
Every day is a new opportunity to
Yes.
try again. It doesn't mean because you didn't do it yesterday that you can't try again today. And so that, I think, is just a really important, thing to remember that. And I kind of live by that. Like, it's okay. Oh, I screwed up today, or I did enjoy such thing today, but tomorrow I'm back on it, And so, yeah, you might get derailed a little bit here and there, but it's not the end of the world. And, I also think that now coming into, like we said, we're 50, I think you're in perimenopause. I'm like, I don't know where I am. I'm in
Yes,
there
girl.
somewhere. Yeah.
Thank you
I'm
for
in there somewhere.
HRT.
I know. I know. We were talking about that too. Like, there are things that you can do to help you get through certain stages of life. The menopause stage is
Mhm.
very, very difficult because we're having all of those symptoms. We're not sleeping as well. We're having the hot flashes. We're having vaginal dryness. We're getting extra
Weight
weight
comes
around our
on.
belly
Yes. Like
that
you
you
change
can't get
nothing
rid
and the weight
of.
still comes on. Yeah.
Yes, and it's very, very frustrating. But there is things like the hormone replacement therapy. If you can get that from your doctor, you and I have both gotten on that, and what a difference it's made. I don't have my hot flashes anymore. I sleep better. I don't have vaginal dryness. And,
Alone is worth it.
all of the things. But, I do got to still watch what I eat because it does come on a little bit faster and leaves a little bit slower. So just things like that, I think is, something to remember.
Yeah, and you talked about like the grace, showing yourself grace and compassion and kindness,
Yeah.
and by doing that, you're going to attract then a partner that treats you the same way, right? You're not going to,
Yes.
when you're in this energy of like, oh, I'm not confident, I'm not comfortable, it's easy to attract an energy that will dominate that, right? That
Yeah.
can almost see that as like an easy target. But when you come with this compassion and self-love, you're not going to accept anything different from anyone else.
Yes.
And again, it's so attractive. It's so attractive to just be comfortable and confident. And it's not a
Hmm.
cocky, egotistical confidence, but it's this comfort level of just
Yeah.
self-acceptance and like, I'm me and I love all of it,
Yes.
you know?
And the best part about it is, we never see ourselves the way that other people do. What we think is
So
so
true.
horrible. I've said this many times. I've always had issues with my ass for some reason. It's just, I was very tall, thin when I like lanky when I was young. And so that was like an awkward phase for me. And then then I had kids young. So I got all of a sudden these hips that I wasn't expecting or in that other girls my age didn't have, and then all of a sudden I had this booty and my mom is Jamaican. So I get the extra booty from that, and then I would always be like, oh God, why can't I just have like the small, like flatter butt? And it's like, we always want what we don't have. We have straight hair, we want curly. And so the girls that
Absolutely.
have the flat ass are looking at mine going, God, I wish I had a little booty there. Right. And I would walk myself, I could count on one hand how many men have actually seen my bare naked ass because
Mm,
I've always been so like not ashamed of it, but it's just been this trigger point for me. So I walk out of a room backwards a lot of the time. Like if the lights are on, I'm kind of like, ha
mhm.
ha ha, and I bow out. Or if I
Yeah.
have to walk straight forward, there is definitely, I'm up on my toes, I'm arching my back. I'm like, and I don't know where that came from. That is probably
Mm,
my biggest thing that I've always had issues with. And I'm really lately trying to just be okay with it. I'm trying to make the
yes.
extra effort. If I'm with a man, if I'm going in to brush my teeth, I am just at the sink bending over and I'm wearing my thong panties just with my bare ass out. And again, like you said about no man's asking me to leave,
Yep.
the men that go, damn, you have a good ass, or you have a hot ass. It's like, oh, it's me. It's in my head. It's what I've
Yes.
drummed up in my head that is so terrible. And they're
I think
not
we
thinking
talked
that at
about
all.
this too of how we believe we choose what we're going to believe because if somebody
Yeah.
walked up to you and were like, Andrea, your ass is terrible, you would 1000% adopt that, believe it,
Yep.
and live into it. But
I
when I'm
knew it.
like, girl, you got a great ass, you're like,
Yes.
no, it's this we right. So it's
Right.
kind of just releasing that. And maybe we don't go straight from I hate my ass to look, JLo ain't got shit on me, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we
Right.
don't get there in one leap, but you can kind of just start to shift some of the words just gently and start believing that and start just looking at, look at that booty in the mirror and be like,
Yeah.
It's not bad, you know?
Yes. I love
Um,
that.
yeah, just shifting.
Yeah. It's shifting and loving yourself, giving yourself grace and compassion and kindness, I think is
Yes.
such great things. And maybe it's one step at a time. Find
Mhm.
something on your body that you do love, that you're like, God, I really love that. Now, then let's go to the next part and go, okay, why don't I love this as much? How can I help myself to love that? So now let's focus on that part. And every day, oh, Andrea, your ass is great. Your ass is great. It's self talk, right? A lot of times
Yeah.
it's what you're saying to yourself in your head. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at myself in the mirror going, you know what? It is kind of great. I found myself lately looking in the mirror, at the back of me as I'm walking out, and I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. And so I am gently shifting to a different mindset, and I'm loving it. It's taking away that insecurity so much where I feel like at
Yeah.
one point I'm going to be strutting without a cover up. I'm I'm going to
It's
get
that
there.
freedom. It's that freedom.
It's
And
that
you can
freedom.
apply that to absolutely anything, whether it's a physical feature or, you don't feel smart enough or I'm not a great athlete, like whatever it is, right? Whatever
Yeah.
space that you feel inadequate or not good enough. We talked about the whole not good enough thing too, right? That's really what it
Yes.
boils down to. But just dice, rewriting stories, letting go of shit that, maybe it came from an uncle when you were 6, like, oh, girl's
Yep.
putting some weight on, and you just took that on, and like you just never questioned it. That always became a priority to live into, making sure I
Yeah.
don't put weight on, and like just doing, I kind of call it a life audit. Like, these are my thoughts around this, dump them out, put a line through the shit that doesn't apply
Oh,
today,
that's
or that
awesome.
doesn't serve you. This doesn't serve
Yeah.
me. And it's all made up bullshit anyway. Not a nice ass, based on what? Based on whose
Right.
standards? Based on what concrete, provable in a court of law fact?
Yeah. Who
Right?
put down the with the gamut? What's it called? The
Gavel. The
gavel.
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 Yeah.
Who hammered down the gavel and went, "Huh,
This is
she's
a
going to
nice
jail.
ass.
She's gonna.
Period.
Her ass is shitty." Nobody said that. So
Yeah.
true.
And
And
we
I
just have to like
even
stop being automatic with this shit, right? Like,
so
just stop
true.
and think, like, hold up. And okay, I have gained 10 pounds. Guess what? My body still serves every purpose. And I'm still, when we're finished here, I'm still going to put my swimsuit on and go lay down
Yeah.
at the pool for an
At the
hour.
pool.
And there's going to be bodies that look different than mine, and they're all fucking amazing.
Yep, absolutely. And just to add real quick that I was, because we know social media is the big culprit of all of this too. It's
Mm,
always, we're looking in thinking everybody's so much better. And we have to remember a lot of that stuff is filtered. It's not the way everybody looks on a daily basis. And we are putting our best effort out there. And
mhm,
sadly, we hear more and more stories these days of, influencers that are passing away from suicide or struggling or
mhm,
all of these things. And that should be an eye opener that we are seeing what they want us to see. And I saw this video the other day, this woman, and I think she's like 53. She looked phenomenal. Like, I mean, badass, like the abs, the arms, she's really, really, really in shape, every single part of her. And she told her story on there, and she went back, like, she said when she was turning 50, she was like, I am going to change how I feel and how I am, because she wasn't overweight, but she was very average,
mhm.
and she started doing that. And so I'm watching this story with total intent, like, oh my God, I want to do this, I want to do this. And then as she starts talking about it, she's like, so I just started, she's like, I changed absolutely everything. I stopped eating processed sugars. I stopped having any kind of flour, bread, any of that kind of stuff. She doesn't do any of that. And then she's like, I'm counting macros, I'm lifting weights 6 times a week, I'm getting in 15,000 steps a day. And she said, I have no cheat days. I do this from Sunday to Saturday every week for the last 3 years. And she's like, that's just how I am. And not everybody's like that. And when
Mhm.
she said that, I don't know, something switched in me. And I was like, well, she looks amazing, but like, where's the enjoyment at all in life?
Mm,
And maybe that is an enjoyment for
mhm.
her. Maybe that has become her enjoyment, and that's great. But for me, I just think like, I love to have like a cheat night of my chicken wings. And I think it's okay to have those things in
Mhm.
moderation, and I don't necessarily want to be like counting macros everywhere I go, and I'm having to worry about that and making sure I get in the steps. And if I'm not lifting 6 days a week, it just seemed
Yeah,
like, yeah, I would love to look like that, but at what cost too, right? So
exactly.
I
So
can't take that body with me.
yeah, and it comes
Yeah.
back to deciding, like, what do you want? What is your truth? What is enjoyable to you? Maybe for her, that structure and that commitment is something that she's never had, and that's something
Yes.
that I'm working on, is becoming the person who does every single thing that I say I'm going to do, because I'll just
Yeah.
move shit on my calendar a lot, right? So
Yeah.
whatever, and for you, it's like, no, prioritizing enjoyment and not being rigid is important to me.
Yeah.
So finding that
That
balance for
balance.
you that feels good, and maybe it's, I don't know, I kind of don't love to buy into balance, but it's choosing intentionally in each moment, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then always having your back, no matter what choice you make.
You
There's
may.
just there's no shitty self-talk later. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you can look with curiosity, like, might I do something different? Like, maybe next time I won't eat pizza, 6
Yeah.
times on the cruise, but
Right.
I'm gonna do it 4 times,
Five.
and I'm gonna love that. Yeah. So yes,
Exactly.
just doing you with full acceptance. And it's a goal,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
It's not something that we're going to get to. We're humans, and our brains love
Yep.
to throw shit back up at us, our old demons, or whatever they may
Yep.
be.
It's a
So
marathon, not a sprint.
yes. But
Yep.
also, I
Yep.
wanted to your point of like influencers, there's a couple, I follow a lot of, fitness accounts. If I look at
Yeah.
somebody that's close to my age, and if they look like what I want to look like, and they can see that they've
Yeah.
got decent form and they know what they're doing, I'm going to follow them, right? But I've
Yeah.
noticed several lately are like, they'll show this picture where they're almost like in a competition pose, right?
Okay. Yep.
And it looks incredible. and they've fasted for 3 days and they've, got all the contouring and everything's just, and then they'll do another shot where they're like sitting on the floor in just the bralette and some shorts, and they're like hunched over, eating their cereal, and like the belly's hanging over the pan. They're like,
Yeah.
this is the same body.
Perception.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Or they
Yeah.
go to put
Yeah.
on, the swimsuit, and like, there's some little rolls hanging over the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
But I love that authenticity, because we know that everything that we see on social
Yeah.
media is not real. And yet we still beat ourselves up for not looking that
We
way. So
do.
let that shit go. Let that
Yes,
go.
let it go. Because looking at that
Freedom.
girl hunched over with the rolls, did you look at her going, "Oh, she's so gross. She's so No, we just saw a different, more maybe
Yes.
a little bit more human side of her. Like, oh, she's
I was
normal.
almost like, that looks better to me, right? Like, because I don't know. It looked comfortable. It looked natural.
Yeah,
Natural. Maybe that's the piece.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
So
it. I agree.
authenticity is very important too.
That's
We
it.
could really go
So
on and
good.
on this one.
We
Yeah.
really could. I know. I'm like, wow, we already took a lot of time. But yeah, we wanted to kind of talk about the trip. We had such
Yes.
an amazing time. We're definitely going to do more trips together. That was our little tester to see how we did. So we're definitely going to do that.
Yeah.
And we are kind of in that mindset when we do that. We know things we need to do to stay on routine, but we're also going to enjoy it. So that's
Yeah.
kind of our point to everyone. It's just, you got to enjoy life too.
For sure. And so
Yeah.
let me ask you, is there anything that you would say in hindsight to offer advice to others who are considering going on a weekend trip, either with a
Yeah.
new romantic potential or a new
Mhm.
friend?
Yeah. I think that the key part is to kind of get to know each other's routines, like how they are and what might be a trigger, I think is important. So I
Mhm.
try to pay attention to that. Like, okay, if I were to leave my stuff out here on the floor, is she going,
Yes.
would you mind just picking these up? Because then I'm going to pick up on that and go, okay, that's a trigger for her. So I'm not going to do that. Right. Like I'm going to try to remember to put certain things in certain places. Um, and so I think it's just being aware, but it's
Yes.
also knowing that it's a learning process and you got to kind of dive in to find out the answers to your questions or things that you're wondering. So just go
Yeah,
for it, have fun with it. I mean, it worked out great for us,
it did.
which I knew it would. We've gotten along since day one. It's been very
Hmm.
easy.
It's been so
Um,
easy. Yeah.
yeah. Was there anything with me that you were like,
No, just
God,
exactly what you said. I think I tried to be intentional too a couple different times. I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go like grab another matcha, and I'll catch
yeah,
up with you in a little bit," just to like create a little separation, but also then
yeah,
being aware, like two girls who, well, we're actually both pretty low maintenance. We don't take like
yeah,
hours to get ready, but just being conscious of like, okay, definitely let me make a point. Like I'll go do something different so she could take a shower first, and then maybe the next day I'll
yeah,
shower first. So, because I travel a lot with my daughter where I
yeah,
don't think about that as often, and I can totally be a bathroom hog. So that was
yeah.
very much on my radar. Um,
On your mind.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I think though too, even if you consider that this is with a date, like you said, get to know each other first. And also you're gonna attract, if you're really connected to who you are and
Yep.
you know what you're looking for, you're not gonna attract someone and get to a point where you're setting up a weekend date with someone that it's gonna be a huge problem. So trust yourself. Always
Just
go
trust
back to the
yourself.
intuition. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I love it. Oh my gosh, that was so good. That
So
was so
fun.
fun. So fun. Thank you for joining me. I can't wait for you to come back. We're having you come back more often just to kind of bring some wonderful insight about your life coaching. You
Oh,
have so much good information and you really you just my friend. So I
it's a
love it.
good
I love
time.
having you. It's a good time. I love having you, Amy. So I'll have Amy's information in the show notes so you can find her. She does some life coaching if you guys are looking for that. She has some amazing tips and insights and just such a great listener. You always make me think when we have conversations. That
Mm.
you do. You always we say things and you challenge me where you go, what
Mhm.
and how did that make you feel? And it makes me go, I don't know. How did that make me feel? And kind of think about that. So I
Yeah.
really love that. And I really noticed that within you. So if you guys
Oh,
are looking for someone that can help you with that, she's your girl. And thank you guys for listening. You can find us anywhere. Well, you can find me at from.mrs.number2.ms. You can email me with any questions, comments, or suggestions at Andrea at from Mrs. the number two Ms.com. Amy, what's your social so people can find you?
yeah. I'm on Instagram at So She Did Coaching. So She Did Coaching. And then I'm just Amy Watts, Watts on Facebook. And I spend a lot of time on both. So
I love it. Awesome.
Yep.
Well, you guys have a great week. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Stop. So